Welcome to episode 4 of the Back in My Day podcast. This week's guest is Beatrice. Great chat with Beatrice as she talks about things like her and her family moving away from Bondi during the war because of the potential dangers of living on the coast. She talks about her time with her family and being a dedicated mother, and also about the time spent in aged care and some of the activities that she loves to take on. So yeah, we hope you enjoy the episode. Please like, follow and subscribe to the podcast, and visit us at backinmyday.com.au for more information. We hope you enjoy the episode.
So if you could talk to your 16-year-old self, was there any advice you'd give yourself back when you were 16?
Be brave.
Be brave.
Be brave, because I was very quiet.
Yeah.
Well brought up young lady by English parents.
Yeah.
Be brave.
So I thought I'd start at the beginning. Could you tell us a bit about where you grew up and the early years?
I was born and grew up. The first school I went to was Bondi Public School. We lived in Bondi. And then the war came, and of course we were by the coast, so everybody, you wouldn't know anything about this, but everybody was moving inland. So my father met, I'm very long-winded, my father met a friend on the station at Central, and he was telling him, you know, he's got his wife and 2 children at Bondi, and with the war and not knowing what's going to happen, he was quite concerned. So Frank DeHarty said, I live at West Pymble. And he said, that's very far away from, you, but there's a little cottage for rent. So Dad said, right. So the next thing we knew, Mum was packing and Dad was packing, and we moved to West Pymble, Ryde Road. And so we stayed there for, I did my primary school there, and I did my high school at Hornsby. And then I went nursing. And when I was old enough, I did a secretarial filling for 2 years till I was old enough. And I did my nursing training at what is now called Sydney Kids. In those days it was the Royal Alexandra Hospital for Children.
Oh. What was Bondi like back then? And was it a very desirable place to live? Being on the coast?
I started school at Bondi Public, so I was 5. So my growing up years were a distant memory. It was fun. I don't ever remember. We lived in units, flats as they were called then, and there was a park nearby. I can't remember the name of the park. And then and Bondi Public School was across the park where I started kindergarten. And we were there for a few years because we moved from there. I started at Gordon Public in about 4th class, 3rd or 4th class. The education department sent somebody around, and we all had to sit for this test to find the clever kids, and I was never a clever kid. Anyway, much to everyone's amazement, even the teachers, I passed this test to go to Artarmon Opportunity. Now, there were 2 schools at Artarmon Opportunity. One was on one side of the road was for the clever kids. I'm going back a long way now, don't forget. Yeah. The other side of the road was for the children that weren't so clever, but the clever kids. And everyone was amazed that I'd passed this.
You were the clever kids?
Oh, absolutely. And so we were the first school that ever took their children swimming and learned to swim campaign. And so we went to North Sydney Olympic Pool with the teachers, and they did a learn to swim. And so I thought it might be of interest. It's the first time that it ever had children going out to do something like that.
So were you a big fan? Was swimming a big thing for you? Did you like swimming? Is that something that you carried on with?
Oh yes, I like everything, I jumped in 6 first.
Yeah, yeah.
Think about it afterwards. No, I wasn't scared. So it was fun. My memory, I mean, I can't remember being scared or nervous about it.
What high school did you
I
go
went
to?
to Hornsby.
Yeah.
There was 2 schools at Hornsby. One on one side of the road was Hornsby High School, and the other one was Hornsby Home Science. Hornsby High School was, in my day, in that day I'm talking about, was these schools that all look very, very clever. And I went to Hornsby Home Science, and I learned to sew, and I learned to knit.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was okay. When I look back, it wasn't much of an education, but there you go. Then I met my husband, who was in the army.
How old were you then when you met your husband?
Maybe about 19, 18, 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was in the army, and it was all right while he was posted here. I'm just trying to think where he was posted. He was posted to Melbourne and in the army. So we got married and I went to Melbourne.
Oh.
Yeah.
How long did you live in Melbourne for?
I had 4 children in Melbourne, but unfortunately my first 2 boys died. Stephen was born with a deformed heart, so he didn't really leave hospital. He was in hospital and he died. I think now they would have saved him. They would have known the surgery, and I'm not going back 50 years.
Yes, we've done a long time, a long way now.
Steve, no, I've got it wrong way. Peter was born with a deformed heart. Stephen, my first boy, it was he was sick one night in the middle of the night. So I said to my husband, I was pregnant with my next child, take him to Sydney Kids. It's not Royal Alexandra Hospital for Children. It was then. We were lived fairly close. And see what's wrong with him, because it was the middle of the night and I think I might have had 1 child. So he took Stephen and they said there's nothing wrong with him. He came back and said, they said there's nothing wrong with him, it's colic. But he was writhing in pain and I knew damn well it wasn't colic.
Yeah.
But I had the baby, and so I said, take them back, and I said, take him back and don't you come home here in this house. I won't let you in. If you bring him back, I will not let you in. I looked at it when he's got to stay in hospital. However you know, whatever you have to do, say. Or anyway, they did admit him, but because in that period of time, what had happened, and I'll probably cry, he had a twisted bowel. His bowel had twisted, and don't ask me how, and gangrene had set in. They sent him back, and I said to David, I won't let you in. David was my husband. I won't let you in this house. I'll lock the doors and windows when you go, and don't you come back here, because I won't let you in with Stephen. You leave him at the hospital, whatever you've got to do. And anyway, they did, because by that time, in that period of time, his bowel had ruptured.
Right.
His bowel had twisted and ruptured, and so he only lived for, of course it wouldn't happen now, but in those dark days, he only lived for about 3 days, and I was here with Peter, my next son, who was born with a deformed heart. But anyway, that's another story.
So you lived in Melbourne?
We lived in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Stephen was my second child. He had red hair, but he was wrong with the heart. And I had Jeffrey and Richard, and they were my third and fourth.
Any more redheads? 2 of my children are redheads as well.
I did have red hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, red hair.
Yeah.
Auburn, they call it.
Yeah.
Auburn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now Jeff lives in Singapore. He's in charge of a big company. Richard lives in America, and he is a professor at a big university there.
Oh.
So they've both
gone off and done some good stuff.
Good. I encouraged it. Yes.
Yeah.
So they both have done well and are both doing very well.
Did you find it hard moving overseas? Because I know that I left home when I was 18 to move to Australia. My mum and dad still live in the UK. Then my brother came over here. It's just my sister left there. You mentioned that your husband was in the army. Was he away a lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He was near traffic control.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
So we did. I've lived everywhere from Townsville to Melbourne.
Right. Okay.
And so I have my kids went to school.
They've been around, yeah. Yeah.
My sons, but they've done well, the boys, my boys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So it was a nomadic, if there is such a word, as nomadic life.
Yeah. Was there any other jobs that you did through your life?
Yes. When I left school, I did a secretarial course at Hornsby's High School, and I was a secretary, which is a fancy word. I did the typing and answered the phone for Richard Arthur Ormsby Marshall, who was a solicitor.
Wow.
In the city. I used to get the train, walk up from I'd get off at Wynyard, walk up and turn left. And he had an office, Richard Arthur Ormsby Martin.
They always have those long, fancy names, don't they? The sisters. Yeah.
R.A.O. Martin.
Yeah, yeah. And you enjoyed that job?
I did, because it was exciting. Because I'd never had anything to do with being in the city before.
Yeah.
And so that was, I look back on it and think it was an exciting, interesting time for me. At the time I was a little bit overwhelmed by it all, I think. Here's this little girl that's done nothing but go to high school and go to primary school, all of a sudden in the city, going to every day on the train and back again. And
Yeah. You said that you're someone that always puts your hand up and gives things a go. Is there?
Oh yeah.
You've always been like that?
Well, when I look back, I think I must have been. Yeah.
Do you think that worked well for you?
Well, I can't tell, because I've always been like this. I'm not a shrinking violet.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And so it's me. This is me. The things I've told you, they're me. You know, I can't think. I don't think I'd have ever been a very quiet little.
How's it been? You living here at Uniting Petersham. How's it been living here?
I had a unit, and I knew that my age was going to tell on me. And my boys are overseas, so I've got no relatives.
Right.
So I thought I need to be thinking about aged care. And I thought I'll go and make some inquiries and see, what's available.
Yeah.
Of course, I wasn't going to need aged care now, was I? I mean, was going to be 10 years down the track. But I thought people had told me that you don't just walk into aged care, you have to put your name down, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I made a few inquiries and put my name down here, and a couple of others I had to think about. And but I said, look, I'm not ready now. I just want to know that I'm on the waiting list, because I had nobody here to look after me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was lived by myself and had no support. Yeah. And so I thought I'll have to do this, otherwise I could be in trouble. Anyway, much to my surprise, they rang me up and they said, we've got a place for you. Over the phone, I said, the place for me in aged care? I'm not ready for aged care. Yeah. So I gave them 10. I'm not ready for aged care. I thought it would be 10 years. Because all my friends had said, get your name down, because you might have to wait a long time. Yeah. Oh, my goodness me. Anyway. So
you said the food's nice and they look after you. The staff seem really nice.
I think the food's good.
Yeah.
I have no complaints. I think they do a good job. And when I think about, there's me and about 50 other, however, I'm in room 41.
Yeah.
There's 42 rooms and I'm in room 41. So there's 41 people like me or 40 people like me.
Yeah.
So I think they do. I think they've got to be, the girls that work here, the ladies that work here have to have a heart for old people. Otherwise I don't think you could do it. Like I had a heart for children. So my best years, my most productive years was preschool.
Yeah.
I was a preschool teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. And you said you put your hand up for all of the trips. Is there any trips
Oh,
that
yes. I
Straight
don't,
up?
I'm greedy. They all know I'm greedy. I
Yeah.
say, look, I'm greedy. I've said to the staff, I'm greedy.
Yeah.
I know I'm greedy. So if somebody's missing out that you feel should be going, take me off the list. Oh yeah, I'm quite upfront. I said, I know I'm greedy and I'll always put my hand up.
I don't think it's greedy. I think it's good. It's good that they, it's good to go out to all the different trips and get out there.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Any
We
places
have
that
great-
you... Oh, sorry, go on.
Well, I'll just say we had great trips. I live for the trips.
So if you could talk to your 16-year-old self, was there any advice you give yourself back when you were 16?
Be brave.
You're right, okay.
Be brave, because I was fairly quiet,
Yeah,
well brought up young lady by English parents.
yeah.
Be brave.
But thanks so much for coming onto the podcast, having a chat. It's been great to hear your stories.